Yo, hey kiddos, it's your boy, the OG West Nile virus, Young Malaria, aka Uncle Draza, or you guys can call me Reno as well, that's fine, I'd go by any of those. I know this is kind of out of the blue, like, Draza, where's your shitpost? We want to see the funny videos, XD! I mean, first off, no. Secondly, there's going to be a lot more videos coming, don't worry about. I would definitely be looking forward to some of the new content coming out. And while I'm here, I might as well thank all of you guys for the support of the channel, because fuck, this shit's blown up really fast. Like, I think maybe 3 or 4 months ago, I was at less than 50 subs. So thanks honestly. I mean, I haven't really given a proper sub special besides that fucking shit post I made, but I really do appreciate the support, and yeah, can't wait to make some more content. Yeah, reworks are coming out. I don't know when the next ones are going to be. I think it's the start of the next season, so I have no idea what they're going to choose for them, because in my opinion, the most obvious reworks to me seemed like Orochi, and of course Kensei made it the first time, but I didn't think Conk and Zerker were going to be on the first tier. I honestly thought it was going to be Valk, Orochi, maybe Warden, and then maybe even Lawbringer, because Warden, Lawbringer, Orochi are like the 3 most played characters, but I don't know why they're stalling so long with the reworks. I think maybe people like playing worse characters, honestly. The point being is, yeah, I am surprised with their choices for the reworks for the first round, and because eventually they said they're going to rework all the vanilla characters. I think because I have a lot of experience on the 2 characters, Warlord and Raider, I want to exclusively go into some ideas, more or less on Warlord especially, than Raider, on my ideas for reworks. So without further ado, let me get into it. So as you all may know, Warlord used to be probably one of the strongest characters without a doubt in the game, up until the point where he was nerfed in Season 3. And just the nerf in Season 3 was just so out of touch with how the character actually functioned, to think that the For Honor developers thought that Warlord could survive after the Season 3 nerf is quite frightening in a way, I would say. Yeah, and I mean, it came to the point where, you probably all know, they reversed some of the changes of the nerf, and they kind of put him in this limbo area where he's like simultaneously one of the worst characters in the game, but one of the best characters, and I think that's just part of his former glory shining through still, where he was a very good character. And a lot of people don't take into account the unintended nerfs to Warlord that happened because of, I would call, carpet nerfs, you know, other things being changed. The first one would probably be the nerfs to passive feats, especially just having the cooldowns on them instead. Basically got rid of the Invincible Warlord meta, because he would just use damage resistance, and he had the extra 3 health, but he still does have that. But yeah, Warlord used to be almost invincible because of those, and this is part of my argument of why it was stupid of them to keep his damage nerfed from, it's currently 30 on the side heavies and 25 on the top heavy, and I think it just should be, honestly, his heavy damage should just stay at 35 and 30 on the top, and nothing else. You don't need headbutt damage, light damage, it's all fine. Just give us more heavy damage. It's just so pitiful. I would also like to see his hyper armor startup frames to be increased. Right now, I think it's, I want to say 200 or 300 milliseconds. I don't know, but its point being is, like halfway through the heavy, the hyper armor starts up, which is really annoying, because against the PK or Shinobi, it's actually just not easy to trade with the hyper armor. It's you'd have to predict it, and that's pointless, honestly. What it should be, the other thing I would like to see too with the hyper armor is looking at Kensei's rework. Actually, it was on the original Kensei too, to be fair. Having hyper armor, a hyper armor move that chains from another move. So like with Kensei's dodge attack, he can do a hyper armor light or heavy or something. Same with his top heavy, stuff like that. It should be that when you do a light on a Warlord and you chain it into your heavy, that heavy should get full hyper armor. It shouldn't be able to be guard broken either. It should have full hyper armor. It's slow enough, to be fair, honestly. You know, I don't think that's unfair. Looking at fucking Berserker right now, it's definitely fair, okay? And another nerf that's kind of happened not too long ago, actually, was the full stance nerfs where you basically guard broke out of them. And see, where Warlord was, he's always had this stamina regen thing where once he goes in the full stance and it comes out of it, his stamina regen is like halted for solid almost 10 seconds. Yeah, it made sense at the time when you could like do things like headbutt from full stance, and it just doesn't make sense now because I understand why Conk wouldn't have it either, because he needs it to feint. It's not halting, it's not preventing Warlord from turtling at all just by making him regen stamina, or not regen stamina basically, for a moment of time. They should just get rid of the regen delay. I'm fine with keeping the stamina for blocking attacks and for going into it, fine. I mean, it's not like you just fucking shift into full stance all the time and it works. I don't fucking... Some idiot on Reddit was arguing with me that it was viable, and I think by the time Season 5 has came around, after, you know, there's no more Warlord's Wild Train with the fucking... You get a parry and throw someone off a ledge. And with Conk coming out in the reworks, I think it's safe to say that Warlord is fucking just... It's garbage. Like, Conk can do anything Warlord could ever do, but better at the moment. And his full stance is definitely mediocre if we want to compare it to Conqueror's. So to say that Warlord's full stance is in a good state right now is quite something. So I think they need to get rid of that aspect. And the other thing I want them to do, the full stance, is... Now, some people I've talked to want, like, straight up Season 2 or 1 Warlord back, which is, I'm like, nah. There is a lot of abusable stuff on Warlord. I don't know if I want that back. But, I definitely think he should be able... He should have his heavy out of his full stance to be unblockable. That would be amazing, actually, because the thing is with the superior block is... People say, oh, you block a heavy and you're gonna pray heavy yourself. But it doesn't work that way. It's... First of all, you have to get the input. You have to do the heavy exactly after you get the block, or else it's not going to happen on a lot of attacks. And then there's some attacks that aren't even affected by superior block, like all of Shaman's heavies aren't affected by superior block. Most zone attacks aren't affected by superior block. There's tons of things that aren't affected by Warlord's full stance superior block. It's insane, actually. And the really only guaranteed damage you had is the little poke light, I guess, or the headbutt after full stance. It's actually mediocre, the full stance. So making the full stance heavy unblockable it'd be cool for two reasons. You know, it'd be a cool tool to mix up with, because his moveset's a bit lackluster at the moment, I have to admit. And just so it guarantees damage off of superior block, or if people throw in a light, you know, then they can parry it too. If it comes out, it would only work on the superior block like it would before, but it'd always be guaranteed because it'd function like that. But anyway, the other thing I would like to see, I don't know if this is a good idea or not, and it's going to be like that for a lot of things, I think, mentioning in this video. I think you should be able to follow up with the light after the headbutt without getting a hit, basically. So that's kind of how Conqueror is working at the moment, and somewhat how Kensei with the Pommel Strike is working. Yeah, that is actually how it works, but I think you should be able to follow up the light, even if it's the same animation. It doesn't need to be a unique animation or anything. You can already block headbutt lights for some reason, which is a bug they should fix. That's another thing I need to mention. You can actually block headbutt lights off of if somebody hits you with a jumping heavy and then you follow up with a headbutt, they can block that, or even if they're assassin, they can deflect it by dodging to, I think, their left. No, I think they're right. Never mind. I don't know. But point being is, that's a bug. It's been there since Season 1. They won't fix it. Gay. I know. Another thing they have to fix is his wall stun properties. For some reason, they just don't... Okay, theoretically, every character in the game, you throw someone to a wall, you get a free heavy. No, not with Warlord. It does not work sometimes. I do not know why. I seriously cannot figure this out. I'm rep 35 on fucking Warlord, and I cannot figure out. This happened sometime around, I want to say Season 4 even. Like, I remember it always working up until like Season 4, and something happened, and I don't know what it is. But they like, you go play Shaman or someone else, literally anyone else, and you throw someone into a wall, and they cripple like they have fucking cerebral palsy, and they just like, they have a seizure, and you always get your hit, even though you have even slower attacks than Warlord sometimes. But when you throw someone to a wall with Warlord, it doesn't happen. I do not know why. And I'm going to be really reasonable with my ideas for Warlord, because I heard people say like, oh yeah, Warlord should get a double heavy chain. No. You are digging your own grave, dude. Like, you people really have to think about what you want on these characters, else you're gonna get fucked over when the reworks come around, and there's gonna be no one to blame but yourselves. If Warlord had a double heavy chain, fucking the crashing charge out of stamina stuff would be fucking maniacally annoying. Could you imagine that? He fucking pushes you over, even with like his still 230 damage heavies, you get fucking 60 damage down, you lose half your health to one crashing charge out of stamina. Oh god. But on the subject of crashing charge, this is where I think I'm not confident in giving a certain opinion on. I think they should remove falling over on crashing charge, honestly, because it's just a cheesy mechanic, honestly. Like, I'm tired of these out of stamina mix-up things. It just encourages people to never attack, and so they won't go out of stamina. It's frustrating, actually. Another thing I really want back is his old tracking on his jumping attacks. And I know you can right now still chain jumping attacks out of a missed crashing charge, but I really do want the old jumping heavy to come back, just so I can use it to chase people, even if it means removing that element from being able to chain it out of the missed crashing charge. Because I just want to be able to catch people running away. It's so pitiful now. Just like his parry combo. I think the thing is with Warlord's parry combo, I don't think you actually... I think getting a regular heavy parry drains more stamina than doing the parry combo. It's actually quite sad how much stamina the parry combo doesn't drain at the moment. And I'd rather have it go back to being like it was before, we're guaranteed the heavy. In fact, this is my idea for it. You would have, look at Lawbringer, where if I get a parry and I do a light, it does the quick little, thing, the little boop on his head, and then when I get a light parry, it gives me an ad mortem, right? And even if I get a light parry, I can still do the little boop just by hitting the light. They should do that with Warlord's parry combo. If you follow up with a, if you get a light parry, it does the heavy parry combo. If you get a heavy parry, it does the light combo. And problem is, doing a zone is way more damage than your light combo. In fact, the parry combo for Warlord actually does 1 more damage than the regular light for some reason. And also for some reason, Warlord's top light does... I found this weird. His top light is slower than his side lights and does 17 damage as opposed to his other, I think 15 damage lights? Don't quote me on that. Yeah, it's real, or maybe they're 14. I don't know. But yeah, it's really odd. So theoretically, getting a good punish with Warlord, if you don't have a zone available, just do a top light. Just a tip. His zone is pretty It's okay, honestly. It's really good for just getting after a parry, but it does good damage, and that's the problem. It does good damage, so there's no reason to use the parry combo, really. So I think if they were to change that, I would like to see it a little bit more like Centurion's parry combo. Either it has raw stamina draining or just more damage, something. Just it's got to be better. Or you could get parried and just lose all your stamina and die because Warlord's stamina pool is dog shit, honestly. Um, I don't know if it should change. I kind of want to for my own personal purposes, but I understand if maybe it was a little larger, it would make being it would make him a little bit more potent as a turtle or harder to punish because that's the like best way to kill a Warlord at the moment is he's just asthmatic as fuck. He's fucking asthma lord. The other way to cheese Warlord is his fucking back dodge is just ridiculously bad at the moment. Ever since they nerfed his dodge properties, it's been very difficult to punish another Warlord's headbutt in a mirror match. I do think Warlord kind of needs his dodge properties looked at again because at the moment he can't really punish other bash move characters, making him just absolutely... He just gets absolutely eaten alive by characters like Conqueror and maybe even Centurion if you know he plays very passive. It needs to be adjusted a little bit, have some looking at because it's severely limiting his potential at the moment. Give Warlord better dodge properties just so he doesn't get fucked by other Warlords mainly. It's just beer matches are not fun. You just stare at each other from a distance away because nobody can dodge each other's headbutts. That'll wrap it up, honestly. I had a lot of other subjects I want to talk about, I'm not gonna lie, but I think I'll do that in another video. So I'm sorry if, again, this is this ain't a shit post. I want the funny memes. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I had to I had to make the video or else I would just keep ranting every other day about it, you know. But don't expect a daily upload of why Peacekeeper needs to be removed from the game or something like that, because I don't want to become one of those guys who just complains about the game all the time and doesn't actually make content. But I just want to get my opinions out there, especially because, you know, of course the reworks are coming up, so the meta could really change in the next upcoming months. So that's a lot to look forward to. And what I'm looking forward to in upcoming months is this channel growing, because at this rate, we're getting a lot of subs recently, and once again, I want to thank you guys. So I guess I'll see you next time. Yeah, bye.